Hey, what's going on, guys? So as you may know, I recently picked up Loomian Legacy as their Atlantean update just went live, and after playing a bit of it on stream with you guys and on my own for a little while for the Let's Play series, I was like, damn, this game has some really cool monster designs. And as of such, today we're going to be exploring the starter Loomian and their evolutions. If you don't know what Loomian Legacy is, it's basically a 3D monster taming game on Roblox that is currently in early access and plays much like Pokemon. The game is free to play, and I'm not exactly an expert when it comes to Roblox, but from what people have been saying, you can also get it on mobile, so that's pretty cool as well. I know when it comes to picking a starter, it's very important for a lot of people to know what the final form of said starter is, because for many, it can drastically change which starter they choose because of the permanence of evolution. I'm like this too, that's why I think this kind of video is so important to act as a resource for those interested. Anyways, without further ado, let's check out some of the starters, and let me just say, some of these are really cool. Alright, so first up we're going to start with the light type starter because hell, this game has a light type and that's pretty cool. So here we have Eaglet, again, the light type starter, who's described as being a brave little Loomian whom will use both their vicious claws and blinding lights in order to defend their nests. This Loomian, as well as every other one on this list, has the base ability Awakening, which further boosts the same type attack bonus or stab of the Loomian in question. You can kind of think of it like adaptability from Pokemon, but stab in this game is 25%. Instead of Pokemon's 50, and the double bonus you get here is 50% instead of adaptability's 100. All the starters share this ability, but each of them also have their own secret abilities, which can be obtained through rallying, which is a topic of its own for another day. But in this case, that ability is Applied Frustration that'll boost this Loomian's ranged attack by 2 stages when it receives a stat debuff from an opponent's move. All Loomian keep their abilities upon evolution, so there's no need to discuss them beyond the base forms. At level 18, it will evolve into Torprey, which, by the way, all starters evolve at level 18, and then 34 if you're wondering. Torprey's Lumipedia entry states the following: people have reported seeing blinding lights speeding past them at night. Further investigation has revealed that these instances are actually Torprey. Finally, it'll evolve into Falconry, gaining the light and metal dual typing, and is described as being a creature once used as a mount during the time of the legendary hero, and is thus revered to this day as the hero's Loomian. Stat-wise, you can see it has a heavy emphasis on its ranged attack. Next up, we got Feevine, the plant-type starter, who's described as follows. During the day, Feevine can be found lazing in the sun, storing energy. At night, however, it unleashes its full potential and chases its prey through fields with explosive energy. Again, all starters have the Awakening trait, but this line also gets access to the secret trait, Thriving Pace, that gives it a 50% speed boost when inflicted by non-volatile status conditions. It evolves into Felver, whose Lumipedia entry states that using its large ears, it stands guard for its group. Once it detects a threat, it emits a loud sound to alert its allies. Then it'll evolve once again to Tatab, gaining the Plant and Brawler dual typing, which is Loomian's version of fighting or melee type, and gets a pretty cool bow staff. Deep in the jungles of Roria, there are tribes of Tatab that practice a form of martial arts that is unique to them. So those of you who know me know that I have a very big soft spot for martial arts based monster design, so I think this one's pretty cool. Unsurprisingly, its stats focus on its melee attack and speed, making it a physical sweeper. Next up, we have my favorite line of the bunch, being the Wevolt line. By the way, we're not going in order of Lumipedia entry, but instead we're sort of moving around and starting with what I'd consider the more interesting designs and concepts. But anyway, this thing is just a cat, but just you wait. Just wait a little bit. Its Lumipedia entry states the following. This electric type Loomian is often found playing in thunderstorms, where it uses its tail as a lightning rod to gather energy from lightning strikes. It can send powerful jolts of electricity through its whiskers to stun its prey. Its secret ability is Brute Force, which removes secondary effects from its moves but increases their damage by 30%, not too dissimilar from something like Sheer Force from Pokemon. It evolves into Stozap, which again is another cat, but just keep waiting. It's described as follows. Stozap can live at higher altitudes so that they can become closer to storms that are passing through their territory. And finally, after living at those altitudes, this bad boy becomes a dragon in Zwelong. Its mid-stage evolution starts to show the sort of beginning of that transition, but come on, man, this thing is super dope. Zwelong are recorded in history as both a bringer of rain and prosperity, as well as harsh storms and destruction. Ancient Rorians both worshipped and feared them. Even the lore is sick. Its stats you can see focus on speed and ranged attack. By the way, it's an electric and ancient type, which ancient type is sort of like Loomian's version of a dragon type. Also, speaking of which, let me know in the comments if you want to see me do a type chart video similar to what I've done to other monster taming games, because despite having 7 starters, there are far more types than that in Loomian Legacy, so I think it'd be a really cool video to sort of tackle. Next, we have the dark type starter Vambat, who's notorious for dive bombing cave explorers and stealing their hats, you know, kind of a jerk. Its secret ability is Sharp Claws, which provides a 30% damage boost to its contact moves. It then evolves into Dimpire, who's described as follows. Since its evolution, it has lost its ability to fly because of its new wing-to-body ratio. It can be seen hopping and flapping its wings in an attempt to gain flight. It then finally evolves into Vesperadu, the dark and spirit dual-type Loomian. Vesperadu seclude themselves in dark and abandoned buildings and feed on those foolish enough to wander into their territories uninvited. Its stats favor its melee attack, then speed. Next up, we got the ice-type starter being Snowcub, whom, while in packs, apparently fool people into thinking they're actually an avalanche, causing panic. Its secret ability is Staunch, which prevents the enemy from decreasing its stats. It evolves into Snowkey, whose entry reads, Snowkey stay warm by constantly moving. They have an overflowing amount of energy. Then it'll finally evolve into Himber, this really cool devil yeti looking thing, who's described as follows. Despite their intimidating appearance, Himber are actually quite kind creatures. They oftentimes help lost trainers find their way through the snowy mountain peaks. It's that whole idea of don't judge a book by its cover, I guess. In this state, it gains the ice and earth dual typing, and its stats primarily focus on HP and physical defense. Over to the water starter, we have Dripple, whom are said to be happy about the companionship that a tamer Loomian relationship has to offer, but is perfectly fine just, you know, sitting around and blowing bubbles all day. Its secret ability is Power Napper, which increases its HP by 25% of its max when switched out. Not too dissimilar from a Regenerator from Pokemon, but at a quarter instead of a third. It then evolves into Reptide, again at level 18, who are often found dwelling at the bottoms of rivers near the seas and coast. Then once again, it evolves into Luminami, which is really interesting because it's actually a water light dual type, making it the only starter Loomian whose dual type actually crosses over with another starter's primary typing. When at sea, it uses its light to attract prey into the briny depths. However, at night, it is known to emerge and walk on land to eat the bugs that flock to it. Its base stats are actually quite balanced other than its low speed. Finally, we have the fire starter Embit. Its soft fur is warm to the touch. This Loomian is especially popular in the colder regions of Roria, where it helps trainers stay warm in the harsh climate. Its secret ability is Terrifying, which decreases the enemy melee attack upon it switching in. Think about Intimidate from Pokemon. It evolves into Raburn, who's described as having undergone intense training to harden its fur and boost its defensive capabilities. Then once again, it evolves into Seer Knight, the fire and metal type. Seer Knight's Lumipedia entry states the following. Known for its loyalty, members of its kind were sworn protectors of the royal family of Roria many years ago. Seer Knight's stats revolve around melee attack and melee defense, making it a physical tank. I think of the starter roster, this is my least favorite line, but that's just a personal preference. And there you go, guys. Those were all 7 starter Loomian and their evolutions, making for a grand total of 21 monsters that we explored in this video. I do hope that this was helpful to anyone about to start their journey who wants to know what they're getting into upon picking a starter, or for anyone that just likes this type of content. If you are a fan of this game or just the monster taming genre in general, definitely subscribe to my channel because I put out new content every single day, and I have a ton of Loomian content planned now that I've played it. I think it's a lot of fun, so I'm pretty excited to get into that. You can also check out my Twitter, my Discord, my Patreon, all links below. Special thanks to my patrons, especially Dark Persona, Dro Ghost, Jim Hamilton, and Steel Case, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.